Before we start the video, please go check out some of my other ones after of course you watch this one. Also please consider liking and subscribing, and sorry about that if I spooked you good. This video is perfect for you, and if not, keep watching. Emergency Alert, or formerly known as the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, a system created in 1963 till 1997, rest in peace. EAS in the United States allows the president or any authorized official to let the people of the US know that we are in a national emergency. Formal definition, though, is a national warning system in the United States designed to allow authorized officials to broadcast emergency alerts and warning messages to the public. Basically what I just said. But why the heck are these so terrifying? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be trying to figure that out. Why is this both interesting and terrifying? It's a mix of both worlds, so let's get started, but with some caution. But what came before EAS and EBS? It was the Conrad system, control of electromagnetic radiation. This was the very first form of sending a message to the people of the United States. Particularly, this was used in the event of an attack during the Cold War. At first, this system was really only for warnings and enemy attacks, like I said, but by 1957, it changed so that it can also warn the public of dangerous weathers and natural disasters. But what's really interesting to me is that before this system, there was no way for the US government to send out warnings or communicate with its citizens. So if something happened, it'd be up to the networks and radio stations to interrupt the normal program to inform the public on what tragedies may have occurred. An example of this is on December 7th, 1941, when the attack on Pearl Harbor happened. How Conrad would alert the public is it would shut off the station for 5 seconds, then turn on again for 5 seconds, then turn it off again for another 5 seconds. Then after that, it would play a 960 Hz tone for 15 seconds. Wow, that's a lot of fives. Most radios back then had a Conrad CD symbol on them. This poster, you can clearly see that it gives you directions on what channels to dial to. But to make it easier, by law, radios and car radios had the CD triangle symbol, so people can find it faster in emergency. Fast forward to today, and while that system's gone, the dangers and threats to humans still remain. The current system in place, EAS, is how I'll be referring to it in this video. No matter what, really, all these systems have something in common. Besides warning the public, it's that they're off-putting and scary. So why? Well, right off the bat, our survival instincts kick in when we sense we're in danger. As named fight or flight means either you fight the danger or you run away from it. But during this process, our bodies go through many different changes, emotionally, physically, and psychologically. So when we hear that screeching tone being played in the beginning and ending of this alert, it's so recognizable and able to grab our attention. Then our TV screen changes, we know something's wrong. And when that calm computer voice starts to tell us the situation, we get a little bit of that fight or flight in us. But most of the time, those EASs don't affect our day-to-day lives and are sometimes just tests. But when something real is going on, that realization that our lives could be in danger becomes really terrifying. That's why scenario emergency alert system videos are popular, because it puts the viewer in that situation. It also sparks the thought of what would I do if this was real? The fear of the entire world changing because of a deadly virus that makes the dead rise again. Or perhaps that a nuclear attack has been launched on the United States, and wherever you are could be your last moments alive. But a particularly creepy EAS scenario video that stands out to me that has some pretty good voice acting and amazing editing is this one. Creepy EAS Broadcast 0503 1984. Now in this video, a regular channel is proceeding with its regularly scheduled program when a test emergency broadcast interrupts it. Things start to get really creepy here when a strange distorted voice is heard slaughtering and killing the missing girls earlier reported on. I find this video really disturbing because whoever voice acted in this did an amazing job of making me feel like this was real, so check this out if you want, but remember, it's pretty scary. These things are scary, of course. Now, what happens when you take the elements of this and turn it into a walking, living being, aka Siren Head? Kind of the embodiment of EAS. You know, yes, he's kind of funny looking, he's tall, lanky, but that's not really what makes him scary. It's part of it, but it's not fully. It's his sirens, the echoing of its distorted sound and nature. That's what makes him terrifying. A very popular series of videos are the Mandela Catalog, a series of videos about a fictional county in Wisconsin called Mandela County, where the county is being terrorized by alternates, who convince the victims to commit suicide to take over their identities. Pretty interesting stuff, really cool, but let's take a look at a specific video titled Intruder Alert, and where the viewer is watching a child safety awareness video where it quickly turns dark, but during the video it's interrupted by an EAS, with just a very well done creepy voice reading what's on screen. In this EAS, it states that thousands of children have gone missing in multiple counties. It's warning children to keep away from TVs. The creator of these videos, Alex Keister, has just done a very good job of taking analog horror to the next level. I recommend watching these videos if you haven't already. They're really creepy and may make you paranoid for a bit, but trust me, they are truly a work of art. But analog horror could be its own video topic. I'll make that in the future. It really is interesting to me. The vintage style of EAS were more off-putting and eerie. Let's take a look at the 90s, an already pretty impactful and impressive era of humanity. In the 90s, obviously the quality of TV was not like how it is today, but this is why EAS were more terrifying. Take a look at this one. Now, I can't play this with sound because I'm not entirely sure of the laws surrounding having an EAS tone in the video. So for all these videos, I'll include them in the description, so please don't come after me, US government. A big part of this is the voice of Old Paul, perhaps the creepiest voice of EAS history. His voice is just weird and sounds like it's muffled and distorted. His voice sounds like it's made to be creepy, and every time I hear it, I get uneasy. For example, in this video, the tone of everything is creepy. It's a severe tornado warning, so of course it's serious, but imagine being a kid back then and just watching this in your room alone, and then out of nowhere, a loud noise is being played, and this voice comes out and tells you that something dangerous is happening. Old Paul's voice was retired in 2016, and then that's when New Paul was introduced and has been the current voice of EAS. Let's leave the United States for a bit and look to some really off-putting overseas EASs. The first one I want to look at is this one, Eas Alarms Israel. This one is just straight up sounds like a demon howling into the night, or a very big beast that has just awakened from millennia-long sleep. This EAS broadcast was in 1991 during the Gulf War, but if I had to guess, it has to be one of the craziest and scariest EAS I've heard in this video. Sorry, Paul. A very different EAS warning tone that is kind of nice is Japan's. It's somehow both scary and eerie at the same time. It's just kind of casual, like a phone notification, two little bells going off. Yes, an earthquake is inbound and your life could be in danger. That's already bad enough, so instead of scaring you even more, here's a nice little tone to calm you down. Good stuff, Japan. I mentioned earlier how Colorado is used to warn adults on enemy nuclear attacks, but how do they spread that message to children? Well, in classic cartoon propaganda, the U.S. Federal Civil Defense Administration funded a half-cartoon, half-live-action instructional video titled Duck and Cover, with a helpful turtle named Bert as kind of the main character of this. I know this is away from the EAS, but I feel like this was still worth mentioning. You know, it's crazy how back then people in the U.S. were kind of living in fear every day, wondering if a nuclear bomb was going to wipe them all out. Plus, even just this video's narrator giving instructions if he's telling you how to fix a broken pipe, but not like he's telling you how to defend yourself from the most dangerous weapon ever created. Have a quick listen.
That's why these children are practicing to duck and cover just as you do in your school. We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it.
Supposedly this video was played for over 30 years and millions of children have seen it, but my question is, why don't they play a video like this still in this day? Like, shouldn't people know, and kids especially, know how to defend themselves from atomic bombs? I mean, it sounds pretty important to know that kind of stuff. Okay, so back to the main point. Why are these EASs so terrifying? Well, like I mentioned earlier, when we see this, we associate it with something bad, and it may also be scary because it's probably meant to be that way. It's meant to make you feel uncomfortable because the broadcasting is telling us that something bad is happening or that it's on its way, and we need to do something about it. But there are people who don't find them unnerving, but instead annoying, and just mute the TV, which is what I do, not because it annoys me, because it makes me so uncomfortable. But sirens are a totally different story. A quick little story from my personal life, if you will. A couple years ago, maybe about 2 or 3, it was one particular week in the summer where it was just some bad storms, and on one night it was like really bad. My basement got flooded, so that was annoying. You know, I live close to Chicago, so we don't get hurricanes or crazy tornadoes like that, at least where I live. But on this night I was sleeping and I was awakened by very loud sirens in the distance, along with loud thunder and water hitting my windows. My heart was racing. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I just woke up, you know that feeling. My family also woke up because of all the noise, and we all waited for a bit. Eventually the sirens stopped after 15 minutes and it was silent. Plus, I didn't get any emergency notifications on the phone to take cover to go somewhere. So I calmed down, went back to sleep, and when I woke up in the morning, it felt like it was all a dream. But no, certainly it was a living nightmare. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was interesting and kind of strangely enjoyable watching and looking into the EASs and different types of emergency broadcasting around the world. Let me know down below, do these scare you and why? And if they don't, really, I'm interested. Why don't they scare you? So please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, thank you so much for the support on my channel. My FNAF ending video is just doing really well, and I want to thank you guys for that. Thank you so much. So once again, make sure to check out some other videos, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Peace out.